the snow's finally stopped, or it's slowed down a little bit in Missouri. You can see little tiny flurries or drops out there. It was snowing pretty good before, but today I'm going to show you my storage tubers for growing potatoes next year. And this one I've got in the area where I've got the bubble wrap aluminum that I start plants on this shelf with grow lights. But these potatoes that have been sitting in here for a few months are doing the best. See how they're greened up, and they really don't need much in the way of rehydrating them. They've just got little sprouts, and so this is probably the way I'm going to do all of them next year. You know, they need some air, some light, and this keeps in the humidity, you know, the foil, bubble foil. So I'm going to create my shelves in like this for storage next year. Every year you learn something new and something better. Let's take a look at a couple days ago. This tuber has no dormancy at all. I've had it just sitting on the table, exposed to the room temperature, and you know, sunlight comes in and out when the sun shines, but I've recently put it in the window to get more sun, so a little bit of greening is happening. But this is actually, you know, the red part is more tubers, like aerial tubers, miniature little tubers. And this potato, I can't, you know, stay out of the ground long enough to even eat it. So I'm not sure that this is one that I'd like to keep or not, but I'm going to keep playing with it and, you know, put it in the window where all the rest of them are still dormant here. Okay, if you take a look at in the window, there's my heart potato, and when you expose the tubers to sunlight, they turn green, and the sprouts green up and stay short. This isn't any good for eating because the green makes it unedible, but I'm gonna, you know, when it starts losing a little more, see how this is kind of shrinking up a little bit, I'm gonna put it in cocoa coir and let it rehydrate. I've also got a sweet potato in the window that I'm going to start to sprout. And then in this container, I've got a microtuber that is sprouting away, you know, kind of like a terrarium. It's attaching its little roots here and there. I'm not going to pull it out too much. And then I've taken another, this one's Blue Doll, the name of the tuber. And I've had it in here a couple days, and it rehydrated it. See, there's still a little bit more there that, you know, is kind of wrinkled. But I'm going to put the core back on it so it's not exposed to sunlight. And let it hydrate a little more. But this is just an experiment in this container to see how long it'll stay miniature. When the temperature fluctuates, this room is normally cool, and then the heat comes, and then the cool comes, and then you find you've got 1 and 2 foot long little roots coming, not roots, stalins growing off your potatoes. It's as simple as take this one off and put that in some cocoa coir and let it rehydrate, or put it in coir and let roots form for this tuber. But I found from last year that I can't get the conditions of outdoor growing happening in my house. I put my potatoes through sleep deprivation last year because they didn't get total darkness and cooler temperatures at nighttime. They stayed at a certain, you know, 70 degrees, and they didn't like it. So I'm not sure that I'll try, you know, growing them indoors again. And if you look up here, I've got more aliens growing. What I've done now is taken the covers. I usually have these over the windows to keep the cold out. This is the north side of the house, and expose these to sunlight for a few days. See how the tubers are starting to get a light green to them. And I'm going to take the ones that are the worst. See how this is starting to wrinkle? It's getting a little green. And I'm just going to put it into the soil here, which is actually just cocoa coir. And let it sit in here. The soil is moist. It's not super wet. And I'm just going to let it sit in here 24 hours to 48 hours and check on it. I've got another video up here if you want to take a look at it from last year of how I took the sprouts off. Let me grab one with a sprout. See how little this is, and the sprout is quite a long one. But the best thing to do is just pull this one off. I'm going to rehydrate the tuber though and put it in there. And you can take this sprout here and cut it up at certain points. If you can see the points, you know, like you could grow it here and root it, and then cut it down even more, you know, and make several plants out of this right here. Over here, this one's a pretty important potato for me. This is the Charlotte. It's a UK potato, and it took a while. I had to order it in September, I think it was, and wait till they got it out of the ground to get it. And I've got Desiree on the way too. The weather got too bad and they couldn't ship it, but I have to get these guys out and try to save these sprouts because I want to get every plant. Every eye on this potato is equal to a plant. So I want to get every plant off of here that I can get. And then this one here, let's see. Those are some more. They're starting to sprout. But I hang them on this rack here with clothespins so they can air. You know, potatoes need to breathe. And this room is usually dark. But now that I've got the window open, the sprouts will grow. And this one's growing out of the bag here, and that could be an issue. So I got to get that one off carefully. And I dropped these guys on the ground. And they're starting to sprout too. And these were some of the last ones that I've pulled out of the ground, and there's no sign of sprouting yet. So I'm really happy for that. And then when you see something like this that's all dried up, there's nothing left, you know, just throw it away. But it's good to check, you know, every month or every week, because if you find a potato that's going bad and it's touching another potato, like this one needs to be thrown out, and luckily see how it didn't touch any of the other potatoes to start damaging them. I'm just going to take the other potatoes like that one and rehydrate it. Put it in the basket here. And take it out tomorrow and check on it. But anything like this one's still, it's soft, but it's still pretty firm. I'm just going to let that sit and keep an eye on it and let it green up. This one, go ahead and sprout, give it a rehydration. But that's it for now. Okay, here's 2 days later. I just pulled this one out. See the roots starting there? The potato itself is a little more rehydrated, and I can just take the roots off, or the plants off, and put it back into the pan and give it a chance to survive till summer or spring. Let me take that off. That'll grow a plant. That'll grow a plant. kind of like sweet potato slips, you know, taking these off. But by removing them, the tuber's not feeding them anymore, so the tuber has a better chance of surviving. And each eye on this potato will create another plant, you know, so you could have as many plants as you do eyes. I'm going to just leave that one on, put the rest in here. Keep this in cool storage and see if I can keep these eyes alive without actually growing them through the winter. So that'll be my experiment, you know, this year, is just keeping them alive, because, you know, I already know that I can't create the right temperatures in this house, or the right growing conditions. But thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day.